Hare Krishna devotees. So we have very important verses 6.40, 41, and 42. This is from chapter number 6, Bhagavad-gītā. Who would like to recite this verse? Please go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yes, but 6.4. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Shri Bhagavan Partha naiveha namutra vinashastasya vidyate nahi kalyana krit kaschir durgatim tata gacchati. Hare Krishna.
Yes, translation also, please.
Yes, Prabhuji. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Son of Pritha, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities, does not meet with destruction either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Very important verse. The reason why it is important is we are all following a spiritual path here. So I assume that all of those who are hearing this class, somewhere or other, are interested in having a spiritual life. They have some faith. Different degrees of faith can be there. But there is some faith that, okay, we are doing something nice, something useful. We are hearing Bhagavad-gītā in the morning. So it's not very comfortable. In the morning, there are a lot of things to do. And sometimes you have to wake up early in the morning and then switch on morning Bhagavad-gītā philosophical class. May not be the best thing to do if you think it in a normal sense, but all of you are taking out time for that because you have some faith that, okay, we are doing something good. This is something supposed to be done, right? So sometimes we get stretched to an extent where we feel that, are we wasting our time? What are we doing? Why do I have to do this? Why don't I do something else? This time I could have been using it for something else. Why am I wasting my time here? Right? So this was a question by Arjuna in the previous verse, where Arjuna is asking in 6.38, tell me something. If somebody who is not able to achieve the perfection that you're talking about, Krishna is talking about a perfection of controlling one's own mind perfectly and achieving Paramatma, super soul. What if I'm not able to come to that stage? I have a doubt on myself. I don't think I'm that level, not at that standards that you're expecting that I will make it. So what does that mean? So my spiritual life is also gone. Material life is also gone. So sometimes it happens that when we come into spiritual life, we do obviously sacrifice the material things, like not eating certain kind of foods or spending a lot of time in spirituality. But after having done all that, if you're not passing, what is the use of it? Now, from something like Arjuna's question, you can think of it like this. You see, there is a IAS exam, UPSC it's called, right? There are a lot of people who study for these exams. And they spend a lot of time. I've seen some people who have spent 5 to 10 years also, right? So after having spent 10 years, 10 attempts, 5 to 10 attempts, and fail, no success. And what happens to them? They go to an interview and then people ask them, why did you waste so long? Why did you take so long to realize that you're not properly there? You see, should have realized it earlier. Why did you waste such a long time? So I don't think we'll give you the job. Happens. There's so many people who are trying for government jobs, right? who are obsessed with government jobs, bank jobs, they spend 5 years to 10 years, I'm telling you. There's so many people who do that. And ultimately they get nothing. Okay. But of course, they say that we gained some knowledge, but practically it turns out to nothing. So is a spiritual path like this? That okay, I am hearing some classes, I've started chanting few rounds, but the point is, I don't think I'm anywhere close to perfection that Krishna is talking about. So what's going to happen? So tomorrow, if at the end of my life, I'm like a loser, like you see, all our relatives have progressed very nicely, they're doing so well, at least materialism, they were happy. I didn't have a spiritual life also, material life also, I'm finished. This is the question that Arjuna asked. Very powerful question. And this is a question that we must also get. Then now coming back to Krishna's answer, very powerful answer, very important answer. Sri Bhagavanu Vacha. Okay, these are not my words. This is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself saying. Right? He's saying, Partha naiveha namutra vinashastasya nevidyati. And as he's saying, oh son of Pritha, a person, you see, who is engaged in auspicious activities, that is Kalyanakrit, nahi Kalyanakrit kaschit, durgatim tata gacchati. Saying, son of Pritha, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities does not meet with destruction either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. So a person who engages in the supremely beneficial activity, supremely auspicious activity, the word is Kalyana. Kalyana means the most auspicious activity for a person. If somebody is engaging in that, for such a person, there is no chance of destruction, either in the material world or in the spiritual world. And Krishna is using the word Tata. Tata is like saying, oh my dear friend. So he's speaking with love, just like how a father speaks to a child. Right? When a father is speaking to a child, when a spiritual master is speaking to his disciple with love, saying, Tata, oh my dear friend, have faith. You'll not be either meeting with destruction in this world or in the spiritual world, if you are engaging yourself in auspicious activities. Now, what is this auspicious activities? Kalyana. How do we interpret this word Kalyana? You see, in Tamil, Kalyana means, do you know what is this? Anybody can say what Kalyana means?
Marriage.
Marriage. So is Krishna saying, okay, those who are getting married, they're not going to be destroyed in the material world or spiritual world? Is that Kalyana here? That's not what he's talking about here. Okay. So the idea in vernacular language that we refer to marriage as Kalyana is that something good is going to happen to us. Okay. Maybe, but that's not the ultimate good. The ultimate Kalyana for a human being is when one takes to a spiritual path. So there are basically two paths, material path and the spiritual path. The material path is called as bhoga and the spiritual path is called as, what is it called?
Yoga.
Yoga. Spiritual path is called as yoga. So again, in yoga also multiple types of yoga are there. One is Dhyāna-yoga, that is empirical knowledge. And we have Ashtanga yoga, which is eightfold yoga system. And we have Bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga is devotional service. But now the point is, we have to understand about the highest, best beneficial activity, the highest beneficial activity. So the highest benefit for any person is in doing devotional service of Krishna. That's the best. Even if you do anything or not, does not matter. It does not matter. Only thing that matters is whether you are doing devotional service to Krishna or not. And Krishna is going to explain why. Why devotional service or bhakti yoga towards Krishna is so important. We will see that. And now there's a beautiful, beautiful purport that I would like to show you. We will see these details. So Narada Muni instructs Vyasadeva in Bhagavatam. Tyaktva swadharmam charanam bhujam harer vajanna pakvotha pate tato yadi yatrakva vabhadram kim ko varta apto bhajatam swadharmataha. Very, very powerful verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. It says, if someone gives up the material prospects and takes complete shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no loss or degradation in any way. On the other hand, a non-devotee may fully engage in occupational duties and yet does not gain anything. So what do we understand from this? Even if you give up everything for Krishna, there is no loss. Even if you do all your duties perfectly well, perfect varnashrama dharma, perfect duties, everything perfect. Nobody can find any defect in your dharma, varnashrama dharma, whatever dharma that you're doing. You may be a very, very religious person, very truthful, very non-violent, very nicely taking care of the family, everything perfect, but not engaged in devotional service of Krishna. It says you gain nothing. That's what this verse says. A person who is not doing devotional service of Krishna gains nothing, absolutely nothing, complete zero. That's what this verse is. It's so powerful, this verse is it not? Does Krishna support such a view? Krishna says in Bhagavad-gītā, the ultimate instruction, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. He is actually instructing, give up all the religious duties without any question, not necessary. Mam ekam sharanam braja. Just take my shelter. And aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. I will definitely cleanse you out of all the sinful reactions and take you back to Godhead. Ma shucha, do not fear. Let's take some examples of such people who have transgressed the religious principles and yet went back to Godhead, because their main principle of life was not mundane religious principles, but the real religion, that is Krishna consciousness. Prahlad Maharaj, let us take his example. You see, in the Shastras, it has been explained that we must obey the instructions of the father. That is dharma. Even Lord Ramachandra showed that, how he went to the forest for the sake of his father's word. We all know that. Lord Ramachandra is showing dharma, religious principles. And then here, Hiranyakashipu said only one instruction. Do not worship Hari. That's my instruction. So he should have followed it. That's what dharma is, Pitruvakya Paripalana. But Prahlad Maharaj completely rejected it. He simply worshipped Krishna. And he went back to Godhead. You see? I'll tell you one more example. The Shastras say that a wife must be chaste towards her husband and must follow the instructions of the husband. Correct? Even Krishna says the same thing. The Vedas say the same thing. But the wives of the Brahmanas, they were stopped by their husbands from going and giving the food that was prepared for the distribution at the end of the fire sacrifice. And they said, if you're going to go outside the house, we are not going to let you in. They just left the place, all the wives of the Brahmanas, and they went and gave it to Krishna, all the food to Krishna. And Krishna actually praised them. And he said, the real religion is to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's the real religion. That's the purpose of the religion. That's the ultimate purpose of anything that we do, to come to that stage. It's not that we do everything, but we miss out the main thing. It's like a dead body. Body must have a soul. Without the soul, it's a dead body. So similarly, if we do all the religious principles without Krishna consciousness, without this ultimate principle that I must surrender to Krishna, then that is a dead body. There's no meaning for that religious principles. Srimad Bhagavatam says, Shrama yevahi kevalam. That is, by doing all the religious principles, if we do not get attraction towards the stories of Krishna, then it is hard labor for nothing. That means we have labored like a donkey, but we have got nothing. Nothing if we don't get attracted to Krishna. So that's like Prabhupada says this example. Just like zeros, you keep on putting zero, another zero, another zero. Keep adding zeros. What is the ultimate value? What is the value? It's still zero. It's still zero. But just put one beside the zero. Then all these zeros have a meaning. 1 0 is 10, 1 0 0 is 100, 1 0 0 is 1000. Similarly, if we do not have Krishna in our life, anything that we have, it can be great education, it can be a good birth, it can be sticking to religious principles. Everything is simply a zero. That's what the Shastra ultimately says. So the thing is, Bhagavatam is assuring that even if somebody is unsuccessful transcendentalist, let's say somebody who's a beginner devotee, just came to some classes, chanted a little bit and left. There are a lot of people who live like that. A lot of people, they somehow get attracted to Krishna consciousness. They start chanting and they chant for a couple of years and they share realizations that, okay, I'm feeling very good. I'm feeling so nice. I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling detached. I'm feeling very, very spiritual. And then suddenly they are nowhere to be seen. Completely lost in Maya. So what happens to them? So is that whatever time that they've spent in Krishna consciousness, is that wasted? Is that gone? Is it like wasted, completely wasted? Krishna is assuring, no. In the words, Bhagavad-gītā 2.40. Neha bikrama nashosti pratyavayo na vidyate svalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution. And a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Even if you do little bit of devotional service also, it will save you from the most dangerous type of fear. The most dangerous type of fear is to be born as an animal in the next lifetime. At least we will get the human body by doing little bit of devotional service. The highest perfection is to go back to Godhead, to serve Radha and Krishna directly in Golok Vrindavan. That is the highest perfection. At least we will not get an animal body. You can see so many animals around us. In front of our eyes itself, we see so many animals dying. When suddenly you'll be walking somewhere and then there is an ant dead under your feet. You'll feel, oh, I killed this. But as per our Vedas, there is no difference between that soul and our soul. It's not that the ant soul is a small soul and our soul is an important soul. Just like our constitution of any country does not prosecute you if you kill an ant. Because you have killed an ant, the relatives of the ant won't go and file a case, criminal case on you. Okay? But the Shastra is saying there is no difference absolutely between that soul and our soul. Absolutely no difference. It's just the body is the difference. That's it. But then it has got only that much opportunity. So when we look at any small animal, we should think that I may also become that animal. There's no guarantee. Nobody is giving a guarantee to you that you will be human being forever. No guarantee like that. We have seen so many examples in the past how there was a human being who became an animal in the next lifetime. In the Shastra, there are hundreds of examples like that. So Krishna is saying, even if somebody does swalpam apyasya dharmasya, this dharma, this Krishna consciousness, even if you do little bit also, you'll be protected from the most dangerous type of fear. So we have to understand that there's no loss. Take the example of Ajamila. Ajamila was born in a Brahmin family. And he was doing some devotional service in the beginning of his life. And later, he got attracted towards a prostitute. And he left his wife and children on the streets and his aged parents also. And then he married that prostitute and had many children. Somehow he named his son Narayana, last son, when he was in the age of 80s. And he was always saying, Narayana, come here. Narayana, get up. Narayana, do this. All the time. But he was a dacoit and he was a purely sinful person. And when he was about to die, 3 Yamadutas had come. The 3 Yamadutas. See, there are sinful activities that we do with our tongue, sinful activities that we do with our mind, sinful activities that we do with our body. That's why there are 3 people concerning each of this. So these 3 Yamapatas, they put that Yamapasha and they were pulling the soul out of the body. And just like any human being, nobody wants to die. And he started shouting. He saw his small child. Who is going to take care of this boy now? He shouted, Narayana. Then immediately the Vishnudutas had come. And then there was a debate between Vishnudutas and Yamadutas. The Vishnudutas argued that this person is completely free from all the sins because he has chanted the names of Lord at the end of his life. Therefore, he is now pure. He is actually eligible for liberation. Yamaduta said, we have never heard this kind of religious principle. For us, the religious principle that has been taught to us is somebody who follows the Vedas, who follows the Varnashrama Dharma, is supposed to be pious. Somebody who does not follow, who transgresses the instructions of the Vedas, such a person is a sinful and he deserves to be sent to hell. This was what was taught to us. You are teaching us something new. What is this new lesson to us? Most of the common man's understanding is like this, like that of the Yamadutas. Be moral, be good, do good. That's all. That is one level. There is something beyond that. That's what Vishnuduta said. The Vishnuduta said, go and ask your master. We can't teach you this now. Then they go back to Yamaraj, and they ask Yamaraj. We have seen that there were some divine personalities who had come. We have never seen them before. And they said that there is something beyond this, what we know as religion. What is that? Then Yamadharmaraj says, is there anybody above you? That's what they ask. Yamaraj says, absolutely yes. There is a supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna. And doing the devotional service of Krishna is a supreme religion. Chanting the names of Krishna is a supreme religion. That's the topmost religion. And anybody, even if they chant the names of Krishna, by mistake, even when falling down, even for a joke, sometimes people joke, Govinda, Govinda, they'll say, finished. Joke. So even jokingly, if somebody does, he's getting that effect of that holy name is there on them. Just like a medicine also, if somebody takes without knowing, I don't know anything about the medicine. Doctor gave me, I took it. I have not manufactured the medicine, nor I have done any kind of clinical research on the medicine. I just took it blindly. It is working. That's it. Or by mistake, I took some other medicine for something, it works. Fire, a small child goes and touches the fire. It works. It's hot, warm, is it not? So it works. That's Krishna consciousness, right? Hare Krishna. So that is the power of Krishna consciousness. So here it's been said, humanity is divided into two sections. Let's see this. Regulated and non-regulated. Regulated and non-regulated, two types, two sections, am I right? So those who are non-regulated, they simply are engaged in sense gratification, right? They're engaged in sense gratification. And in that also there are two categories, civilized and non-civilized, educated and non-educated, strong and weak, full of animal propensities. So these people who have no idea what they're doing, these activities are never auspicious because they're more or less living the life of an animal. Animal is interested in satisfying two things, belly and genitals. So those people who are living a non-regulated life, they are more or less equal to an animal because their main focus is on the belly and genital satisfaction. That's it. Nothing else. Eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. They perpetually remain in the material existence, which is always miserable. On the other hand, who are regulated by scriptural injunctions. Scriptural injunctions regulation is one level. Like I said, it's not the ultimate level. You have to rise gradually to Krishna consciousness. That's the idea. Just like very beautiful example is, just like we have a train, okay, very nice train. Maybe you booked the first AC, and very beautiful, very nice train, very comfortable. You purchased the ticket, you went inside, you put your luggage inside the train, you're sitting. But then you're getting time to time. You're getting tea, coffee, and lunch. Everything is there. Everything is there. Entertainment, everything is going on. But then the train doesn't move. What is the use of such a train? Is it not? Similarly, if we are following all the regulative principles very nicely, taking care of family, everything perfect, very good, impeccable, flawless. But the train is not moving. It's just stationary in the same station. It's supposed to go to the destination. The train is meant to move. It's supposed to go to the destination, final destination. Similarly, human body, the destination is there. The destination is to go back to Godhead, back to Krishna. That's the ultimate goal, supreme goal. So we have to move. It's not that I made myself comfortable now and I shall sit here. So now those who are following the path of auspiciousness, now let us see, Kalyana Krut. We said auspiciousness and the topmost auspiciousness. Let's discuss that. The followers of the scriptural rules of injunctions who are enjoying material prosperity, and those who are trying to find ultimate liberation from ultimate existence, and those devotees in Krishna consciousness. There are three categories, try to understand, who are following auspicious path. What is this auspicious path? Those who are following scriptural rules and regulations to enjoy material prosperity. That's number one. That means karma kanda. Karma kanda means doing all the vrat, doing all fasting, vrat, different kinds of demigod worship, ancestor worship, all kinds of worships given in the religion. In that also, there are two classes. In the first class, that is the scriptural rules and regulation followers, those who are fruitive workers and those who desire no fruit for sense gratification. Those who are fruitive workers, they go to the higher planets, Swargaloka. The main aim is that these people want to go to Swargaloka. That's why they are doing Karmakanda. Karmakanda means doing all the vratas, all the fasting, austerities, etc. But they are not free from material existence. They're not liberated because they are not following the truly auspicious path. It's not the truly auspicious path. It is just slightly auspicious path. It is just better than going to hell. It's like, going to a worse place, better than going to the worst place is just to remain in the place where you are and just to get a little bit more comfortable place. Maybe like some people like, who are coming from village to an urbanization, right? You're going from one area, which is congested traffic, to another better area. You're going from a smaller house to a bigger house. That's all. The only auspicious activities are those which lead to liberation. Now, that category number 2, category number 3. Those who are trying to find ultimate liberation from material existence. So these are like the jnanis and the yogis who want moksha. They are also called as mumukshu. Mumukshu. Mumukshu means those who are seeking liberation. Those who are seeking liberation, they are slightly better than those people who are going to the higher planetary systems or who are doing religious activities only for sense gratification. Now, it says any activity which is not aimed at ultimate self-realization is not at all auspicious. You have to reflect the activities that I've done, that I'm doing, the way I've designed my life. Is this an auspicious design? Am I doing activities which are leading to my ultimate self-realization? Because in Bhagavatam, there's a verse which says, Dharmasya hi apavargasya narthopapayo kalpate. That means dharma is not meant for economic development or sense gratification. That means I'm going to the office, I'm studying, I'm getting married, I'm going to the office. All these activities, dharma is not meant for paisa or enjoyment. No, that's not the goal. The goal is apavargasya. Self-realization is the goal of dharma. The reason why the religion has been given is for self-realization. It is not for economic development. It's not that if I get married, I'll get dowry. Or if I get married, I'll be settled. No, that's not the goal. The goal is self-realization. If it is not the goal, if that activity is not that, then it is not at all auspicious. So that means that kalyana is not kalyana. It's not kalyana if it is not aimed at ultimate self-realization. Actually, activity in Krishna consciousness is the only auspicious activity. That means to accept bodily discomfort for the sake of making progress on the path of Krishna consciousness. And here, Ashtanga Yoga system is directed towards ultimate realization of Krishna consciousness. The goal is the Ashtanga Yogi who is sitting down, controlling the mind, putting the asana, doing the breathing practice, and focusing on Vishnu, meditating on Vishnu or Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. So that such a person comes to Krishna consciousness, to come to a higher stage of Krishna consciousness. That is why that is also auspicious. Ashtanga Yoga is also auspicious, of course, with clauses attached. We cannot break this Ashtanga Yoga into a material system. Then it is not. The idea is we meditate on Vishnu ultimately. That should be there. Or else it is only fourfold yoga system. Because the next four, we are leaving it out. We are doing only the Yama, Niyama, Asana, and Pranayama. What about the rest of the four? It is fourfold. We need eightfold system. Complete. That is a spiritual system. Then that is also auspicious. Then no one who is trying his best in this matter need degradation, fear to be degraded. So somebody who is in spiritual path does not feel that I'll be degraded or I've wasted my time. Now let us see, very, very important, what Krishna continues to say. What happens to a person who falls down after a little bit of Krishna consciousness? Anybody can read this verse? Hey Krishna, unmute yourself and now you can read.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, may I?
Yeah, please go ahead.
प्राप्य पुण्यकृतां लोकान् उषित्वा शाश्वतीः समाः शुचिनां श्रीमतां गेहे योगभ्रमभिजायते. Translation by Sri Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. The unsuccessful yogi, after many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So here is the thing. There are two verses here, 41 and 42. Krishna speaks about somebody who does little bit of devotional service. What happens to him? And somebody and falls down. And somebody who does a long practice of Krishna consciousness and falls down. So what is the destination for such a people? Then this is coming from Bhagavad-gītā. That is a supreme textbook of knowledge for Sanatana Dharma, for the Hindus. And this we consider to be the ultimate judgment. There's no debate on this. Because Vedas itself are infallible. There's no debate about Vedas. Veda Vakya means ultimate word, that's it. And this is the topmost secret of the Vedas. There's no debate about it. It's final. Krishna is saying the unsuccessful yogi, first of all, will go to the heavenly planets. And then later, in the heavenly planets, after enjoying for a long time, such a person will get a little bit of distaste towards that sense gratification. You see, sense gratification, after a point of time, it becomes distasteful, right? There was a king, Maharaj Yayati, I think. He engaged in sexual pleasures for thousands of years. Thousands of years. It's given in Srimad Bhagavatam. For thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And at the end, he becomes so detestful about the whole thing. He says, I have completely wasted my life. I should have used this in Krishna consciousness. And he says, from my experience, everybody should know that this is nonsense. So any kind of materialism is, after a point, becomes detestful. You feel very guilty about it at the end. And then, so here, similarly, those people who are unsuccessful, they'll be sent to the heavenly planets and they'll have so much of enjoyment. In the higher planetary system, there's a lot of enjoyment. It's enjoyment-centric worlds. And they go to the planets, and then, after then, they are sent back to this earth. At least still it is nice because they're at least enjoying their life in the spiritual world, not in the spiritual, in the heavenly planets. And then they take a birth in the family of Brahmana Vaishnava or aristocratic merchants. Shuchi Nam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Bhrashta Vajaya. Sometimes some people ask, what is so special about being born in the family of righteous Brahmana Vaishnavas or of aristocratic merchants? It's common sense. It's common sense. So imagine a person who's born in a family is like very destitute, maybe in some place like Africa, where there's not even some food to eat. You know, the children are like emaciated, almost looking like bones. You see, you imagine the picture they show NGOs, right? Completely no nutrition, nothing. There's nothing at home. Now, what Krishna consciousness will such a person do? Or somebody who has to go out and earn for that day. If you do not go out and earn for the day, you don't even have a little bit of rice also or chapati to eat. For such a person, devotional service is not possible. But if you're born in a rich aristocratic family, you have an opportunity that, okay, I'll tell you a positive example, negative example, both. Positive example is Ambarish Das, right? Ambarish Prabhu, who is a grandson of Henry Ford. Henry Ford, right? He was the founder of the Ford Motors. He's a multi-billionaire. He's a here for billions of rupees. So he became a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. And he has billions of property, rupees. So he is engaging in building the temple of Vedic planetarium. Just like how Indradyumna Maharaj became famous for building the temple for Lord Jagannath forever. Forever we remember Indradyumna Maharaj. Similarly, we will remember Ambarish Prabhu forever because he is building the temple of Vedic planetarium. It's the largest temple in the world ever built. right? And it has got a Vedic planetarium, like a massive scale project. And every time when people pledge money, he gives double of the money that people pledge. That is his style. So this is called, if you're born in a very rich family, you have an opportunity to do devotional service in a royal way. At least you are not so worried about your job and everything. Oh, what's going to happen? I can't be able to do anything, right? So at least that fear is not there. Such a person can be like freely doing devotional service. Okay, he can do devotional service, at least do all the regulative principles, everything, aram se. But the negative example is, once a person is born in the rich family, he completely deviates from the religious path. The example is Nala Kubera and Manigriva, sons of Kubera. Kubera, a great devotee of Lord Shiva, was given a lot of opulence. He is the treasurer of the world. But we see his sons, Nala Kubera and Manigriva, they are bathing with naked women in intoxication in Ganga Nadi, Mandakini, in Kailasha. That's what they are doing. So this is what happens. Opposite effect. Another thing is Srimata Suchina. Suchina means Brahmana Vaishnava family. To be born in the family of Brahmana. What is the benefit? Some people may ask. What is the benefit? I'll tell you the reason. What is the benefit? So the house will be in a spiritual atmosphere. The relatives will be encouraging. If you do spirituality, relatives will say, good, very good, and they'll talk nicely about it. But those who are not born in a spiritual family, relatives will criticize. They will say, what kind of shame are you bringing to my family? So, for example, I have heard once Nitai Sevani Mataji was sharing that there was a brahmachari who joined full time in ISKCON Visakhapatnam. Then the father, he was coming and banging his head on the walls of the temple. That what kind of shame you brought to my family? That, my family will scold me that you became a brahmachari in the temple. So this is the opposite. That is why, it's a good birth to be born in the family of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. Because the family is encouraging and supportive. Otherwise, I've seen one of my friend who was saying that he said that, my father, when I came to 10th class, he said, come my dear son, I'll teach you something. And he brought a bottle of liquor. He said, this is called liquor. This is how you're supposed to drink it. I want you to learn this. Because this is how we are. And I don't want you to spoil outside. You learn how to drink. And without liquor and flesh, the meat, our function will not be complete. This is our tradition. So that is why we cannot follow. It's very difficult. The path of resistance is more. It is good to be born in the family of the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. That's what Krishna is saying here. Suchinam Srimatam Gehe, not the opposite effect. Positive example I've said, that people are supportive. Negative example. Negative example is, if somebody is born in the family of Brahmanas, they become very puffed up. Just like how that Parikshit Maharaj was cursed by a Brahmana's son. He was cursed. The Brahmana's son, he became so puffed up that I am a Brahmana. Right? And he said, how is it possible that Kshatriyas, who are supposed to be like the doorkeepers of the Brahmanas, are now wanting to eat in the plate of us? It's just like a dog licking our plate. So like that he cursed. That is called the opposite, negative example. It is said that when you get something very much in opulence, you become very proud that you forget Krishna. Somebody is born in the family of Brahmanas, you go and tell them Krishna consciousness, they will say, we know more than you. They'll say, we are born in the family of Brahmanas. Our ancestors are so great. What are you to teach me? They're going to say like that. Okay. So that's the opposite effect. Now let us see Krishna's point on the next one. Somebody can read this verse?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, may I try?
Yes, please.
Bhagavad-gītā 6.42. अथवा योगिनम् एव कुले भवति धीमताम् एतद्धि दुर्लभतराम् लोके जन्म यदीदृशम्. Translation Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Or, if unsuccessful after long practice of yoga, he takes his birth in a family of transcendentalists who are surely great in wisdom. Certainly, such a birth is rare in this world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. This is a very important verse. I would like everybody to mark this because it's so powerful, okay? Each of these verses are filled with a lot of meaning. This is the most important and relevant verse for all of us. Athava yoginameva kule bhavati dhimatam etaddi durlabhataram loka janma yadidishram means if unsuccessful after a long practice of yoga, that means those people who are taking to devotional service, Krishna conscious devotees, what happens to them after, after dying? If they do not go back to Godhead, the best case is that they go back to Godhead. If they do devotional service seriously, sincerely, without any cheating, properly following every instruction of the Guru, they'll go back to Godhead. There's no doubt about it. 100%. But somehow if they're little careless, if there's still some materialism present in them, what happens to them? He takes birth in the family of transcendentalists. It says dhimata, yoginam eva. That means he will be born in the families of yogi. The family of transcendentalists. We spoke transcendentalist and materialist, bhoga and yoga. Bhogis are those people whose only aim of life is to enjoy their senses. That is the only aim for the materialistic people. For transcendentalists, it is a higher purpose. Transcendentalist purpose we spoke about Dhyāna-yogi, Ashtanga-yogi, Bhakti-yogi, and particularly Bhakti-yogi. Bhakti-yoga is the best. To be born in the family of the devotees is the best. They will be born in the family of devotees who are certainly great in wisdom. Such a birth is very rare. So such a birth is very rare. It's a very wonderful opportunity. Let us see the purport here. It's so amazing. Each of these purports are filled with so much of meaning. Let's just see this. Here we go. Prabhupada is saying, the child born in such a family receives a spiritual impetus from the very beginning of his life. Right? So, especially in the case of Acharya or Goswami families. Just like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was born to Bhaktivedanta Thakur Maharaj. Bhaktivedanta Thakur Maharaj is called as the seventh Goswami. He is in the Acharya Parampara. Am I right? So, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was born in his family. And what is special? Bhaktivedanta Thakur used to engage all his children in Krishna consciousness. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, at the age of 7, he could recite all the 700 shlokas of Bhagavad-gītā with meaning and purport. So that is called training. That is called training. That is called a great birth. That is called a wonderful opportunity. Such a birth is very, very rare. Krishna is not saying to be born in the family of a very rich person is rare or it is great birth. He said that is good, but the best birth is this, to be born in the family of transcendentalists. So there are many meanings which we can take out of this. The first thing, simple thing is, if you really love your children, first of all, you set a good example. You give that atmosphere, and then you proudly say that, okay, our children have got such a rare birth. That's one kind of an example that you can take out, one meaning. Or be at least comforting yourself that no, nothing is bad is going to happen. Like, yeah, my relatives are saying, my friends are saying, have you gone mad? What happened to you these days? You're not coming to the kitty parties. You have exited the WhatsApp group. What's wrong with you? Right? Have you gone mad? Do you want to become a sannyasi? Don't care for such people, because Krishna is giving instruction here. Lord Krishna is giving instruction that at least we'll get a better birth in in the family of devotees, and we can go back to Godhead at least in the next to next birth. Right? And Prabhupada is saying here that fortunately our spiritual master Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and our humble self had the opportunity to take birth in such families by the grace of Lord. And both of us were trained in devotional service of the Lord from the very beginning of our lives. Later on, we met by the order of transcendental system. Srila Prabhupada, we say, when he was very young, he was sent to Mridanga classes by his father. Right? And then his mother used to say, why are you teaching him Mridanga? What is the use of learning Mridanga? What is this? I want my son to become a barrister and go to the UK. That was the fashion then. Now it's a different trend. But that time the trend was, he must become a barrister. He must go to the UK. What are you doing? What is Mridanga business? Then his father said, no. My father should, my son should become a devotee of Radharani. That's my only goal. My son should become the devotee of Radharani. So any sadhu who is to come, fake or not fake, genuine, any kind of Baba he is to come, Gaur Mohan De, right? His father, Prabhupada's father, used to give blessings to Prabhupada. Please bless him that he becomes a devotee of Radharani. And he said to his wife, Gaur Mohan De, said, I don't want my son to become a womanizer after going to the UK. Going to the UK, mixing with the mlechas, learning how to drink and becoming a womanizer. I don't want him to become like that. I want him to become a pure devotee of Lord. Then his life will be successful. Is that not glorious birth? Is that not a glorious opportunity? That's a glorious opportunity that we get. Right? Even after we are unsuccessful after a long practice of yoga. You see? Now, just summarize the whole thing. It's very important. Thing is, see, the modern thought process is YOLO. Y-O-L-O. You live only once. But the Vedic system says that no, you always live. You are always alive. It's not only once. You are always alive. You never die. Dehi nityam avadhyoyam. There is no death for the soul. That means even if this body is dead, that we agree. Everybody agrees that we will die one day. This body will be gone. Because we have seen, we can see with our own eyes. Everybody is dying. Why not? So, but it's not you live only once. You always live forever. Because you are dehi nityam. That means you are going to live after the birth, after the death of this body. What does that mean? What happens next? After the death of the, can anybody tell me what happens then? What logically should happen? If you're going to accept that we are always going to live, and if our body is going to go away, what is going to happen next? Can anybody tell me? What's the logical possibility next? Tell me.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji, it
Krishna.
is it. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, it is the transmigration of the soul, Prabhuji.
Transmigration of the soul. That means you need to get another body. That means you will get another body. Now, on what basis are we going to get the body? The next question will be, first we have accepted that the soul is eternal. Our life is eternal. We are not Buddhists. That we are saying there is no Atma. There is no, after death, there is nothing. Right? We accept that soul is eternal. Now, soul is eternal after the body. Which body will get? Is there anywhere written that we will get human body forever? Krishna is saying, what is the possibility of getting a body? Logically, Krishna is saying. He's saying, Karanam gunasangasya sadasad yonisu janmasu. Based on the association of the modes of material nature, we get a body. Karanam is gunasangasya. Based on our association. What kind of association we are? If we are with the association of the sinful dacoits, we will become a dacoit. If we are associating with some kind of greedy people, womanizer, we will become that. If we are associating with saintly people, we will become saintly. If we are associating with devotee, we will become devotee. Simple association. Karanam guna sangosya. Sad asad yonishu janmasu. Based on the association, we will get the next body. Confirm. Whether it is animal body or demigod body or human body. Based on the guna sangasya. Correct? So this is the thing. Now that we understand that, our body, we have another body and we have to get another body. And we must work towards it. Because Krishna is saying, let us just invert this, converse of this logic. Anybody who is engaged in auspicious activity does not meet with destruction. Can anybody tell me what is the opposite of this statement? Can you just flip the statement, converse of it, and just tell me what that means?
Anybody who engages in inauspicious activity will meet with destruction.
Yeah, that's what it means. That's the opposite of it. Opposite also true, right? If we do not engage in Krishna consciousness, even slightly also, even more also, because at least Bhagavatam is saying, Tivrena bhakti yogena jajeta purusham param. Tivrena means focused, concentrated, not dilute. Just like taking 1 liter of milk and putting 10 liters of water. No, that is not going to take us back to God. Tivrena. The milk, if you boil it, it becomes rubbery, right? That is called tivra. Sugarcane juice, if you boil it, it becomes completely final product is sugar. That is called tivrena bhakti yoga. That is the expected. If we don't take to Krishna consciousness at all, and if we simply engage in materialism, if we don't care for the spiritual activities, then we are certainly going to get destruction. That's what Krishna is saying. There's no doubt about it. That means destruction is inevitable. One who does good is never overcome by evil, but one who does not do good, he's definitely overcome by the evil. That is the opposite side of it. We have to remember that. So we must take to Krishna consciousness, and it should not be a dilute Krishna consciousness that we came a little bit for a couple of years. Just like some people, they go to yoga shibira. Means they will do some yoga shibir near my community, and I'll go for 2 weeks. I'll do some fasting, dieting, a little bit yoga, and finished. I'll keep telling about it for the whole year, for full of my life also. That I went to that yoga place, I did this. Yeah, I know. I also went. So if you do like that, this is what happens. If you do Krishna consciousness like that, okay, yeah, I also once upon a time I was asleep. I used to chant a little bit, but later I got so busy I didn't have time. This is what is going to happen. Right? We'll have to take a birth again, maybe in a better life, human life. That's it, max. Human life and some better life. And even if, let us say, if we become devotees and then again become a devotee, but not so serious again. If we lose the opportunity, then we have to take birth again. But at least the consolation is that definitely we'll be born in the family of devotees, if unsuccessful after a long practice of yoga. So devotees, the conclusion is that we must take to the auspicious path. Okay, we should not take to the atheistic views of the Kali Yuga, the modern views, which are polluted by the 3 modes of material nature. We should take the views of Acharyas and Vedas and Lord Sri Krishna and make our life perfect. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Now I'm going to ask you some doubts. If you don't have any questions, if you have any questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, I'm going to ask you some questions. And we'll see. We'll have a quick quiz. Any questions or comments? Anything that you want to add?
Prabhuji, I have just to share something. In the Vibhuti Yoga chapter,
Yeah.
Krishna says that I am the all-devouring death.
That's right.
And I am the Yama.
That's right.
So nothing to fear of death also.
Absolutely.
Fear death.
The devotees,
As
they
long
don't
as
fear
we
for that.
are, yeah. So we have to welcome it as like, Krishna is, we are going to Krishna. With that mindset, if we go, probably it will be very pleasant. Whatever happens to you on the body level, just ignore it.
That's right. That's right. The devotees, that's what they say, even if they're alive or dead, doesn't matter, because if they're alive, they are doing devotional service here. If they're dead, they're going back to Godhead and they're doing devotional service there. So their life is always successful. So, and a devotee doesn't feel scared of death. We saw Parikshit Maharaj. He was not at all fearing any kind of death, right? He was very happily hearing Krishna Katha. Right? Yeah. Any other points? Anything that anybody wants to share? Any questions, comments?
And also one thing, Prabhuji, I don't know why why we have been fearing death, and this is going through generations and generations. Why can't we change the mood of the whole? I mean, of course, once you become Krishna conscious, you definitely have the courage, and you can even welcome. But
right.
Why do people consider it as a sad and thing that happens to a person? In fact, they should feel that this person is relieved from all his
That's right.
material pangs or material problems, no?
That's right. But the reason why we fear death is because we don't have knowledge about the death. First thing.
Yes. Yeah, it's only Bhagavad-gītā which
Bhagavad-gītā educates us that you don't be scared of death. It's a natural process. There's nothing to be scared. Krishna says, right? He says,
scared and nothing to feel sad.
yeah, nothing to feel sad. Dhiras tatra na muhyati. The dhira, sober person, is not fearful at the time of death. He's like Aram Setik. Just like person exam fear. If you're very nicely prepared, you're not scared of the exam. Am I right? Of course, you are very alert that you want to perform well. But a person who has not studied properly, he'll be like shivering, is it not? Similarly, if everybody knows that they have done something wrong, they don't know what is the wrong that they have done. They can't find out what is the mistake that they have done. But the mistake is engaging in inauspicious activities. Not engaging in Krishna consciousness is the bad thing that we have done. So that's why we fear death. Okay? Yeah. So, quick questions. So, one question for everyone. So, what happens to a person who is unsuccessful yogi, who is dying after a short practice of yoga? You can answer this question.
He will be born into a family of righteous people.
Righteous people are the family of rich aristocracy. Okay, Hari Bol. Very nice. Okay, what happens if somebody is taken to unsuccessful after a long practice of yoga? He takes birth in the family. Where does he take birth after long unsuccessful practice of yoga?
You will be born in a family of transcendentalists.
Yes. And Krishna says that there is a birth which is very, very rare. We'll give chance to others also, Mataji. Thank you very much. Krishna says that there is a very rare birth. What is that rare birth? There's a rarest birth for a human being. What's that? Who can say that? Rare birth. What is the rarest birth for human beings? Who can answer? Who can answer?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, to be
Yes.
born in a rich aristocratic family.
No, that's not the rarest birth. There's something better than that.
Human birth. Family of a devotee.
Okay, human birth, of course, but better than that. Yeah, family of the transcendentalists. Family of the transcendentalists. Yeah, that's right. Family of transcendentalists. Okay, devotees, thank you very much. So let us all chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra once. Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much, devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhupada.